Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Code Live with Google Cloud. My name is Mark Mandel. I tech lead developer relations. This is our last episode for the year, and I'm very excited to announce the return of Gen AI Dungeons and Dragons. Woo!
We have
Yeah.
a full party.
We have a full party. That's a D&D joke.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
All right, sweet. To kick things off, why don't we do introductions? Mofi, do you want to go first?
Yeah. My name is Mofi. I am in the GKE DevRel team, but for today, I am maker of worlds and breaker of things.
Fantastic. And you'll be our DM today. Mia, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Mia. I do DevRel engineering for DevOps, CI/CD, MLOps, all that sort of thing. And today I am Misa Silvanel, which is apparently an Elvish name. So
fantastic. Jennifer.
Hi, I'm an engineering manager here in DevRel. We do DevRel engineering of all the samples and things. I am a half-elf cleric, Elbreth.
Fantastic. Sarah?
Hi, I'm Sarah Ford. I'm a developer relations engineer on Cloud Run and Cloud Run Functions, and I am playing Cecil today, and this is my first time playing D&D.
Fantastic. And Olivier?
Hi, I'm Olivier. I'm also a DevRel for GKE, but today I'll be playing a turtle called Sorbonne, and just like Sarah, it's also my first time playing.
Fantastic. Oh, I didn't say my character. I'm Malkazish. I'm an orc monk, which should be a little bit entertaining. But Mofi, do you want to take us on a journey?
I do. I think also, Mia, if I'm not mistaken, this is also your first time playing D&D as well.
That's correct. Yes.
All right. So like we are. Again, as I was telling the group earlier, that like three people are trying their hands on D&D for the first time. Hopefully, this is fun for them as well as it is fun for everybody watching. Because like first experience is kind of like the first impression for the game that I personally enjoy a lot. So I would it's a heavy burden, I feel, but hopefully it'll be fun for all of us. Before we get started though, this is the second time we're doing like a D&D type thing in this session. So the last session, quick recap, what we did on the last one was we had Jennifer is returning member for this party, but like we had two other members, and there's a 3-person party, and there was what we tried doing in the last session was using this large language model like a Gemini, I think 1.5 Flash, that is what we used. We tried to use that tool to see how it can be used in kind of rules clarification for D&D. We were basically setting up situations of where the players were trying to do something. And as the DM, instead of me thinking of what should be done, I was kind of offloading some of the decision making to the large language model, asking it like, this is the place they're in, this is what they're trying to do, what type of checks should they make, and things of that nature. And what we found in that is that a large language model with like whatever training data that they had, without any kind of fine tuning or specific RAG or other things implemented out of the box, they were generally pretty close to what we want to see, or like as a DM, what I would personally do, they were pretty close to that answer. So that is like a pretty good start for something like this. But when we were playing the game, like me personally, when I'm running a lot of games, oftentimes there are certain things that is not necessarily rules related, but actual somewhat creative writing, somewhat like making up stuff on the spot. Like, let's say I'm running a D&D campaign or one shot. I usually either following a pre-written adventure or I'm writing something from scratch. And then I have like a story in my mind that the players, like with various like trees and branches that people can go into. But 9 out of 10 times what would happen is my players would come and they would go like, oh, like you're telling me in this tavern we're here, but what is outside this tavern? Who is walking on the street? Give me the name of these 5 people that are across the other side of the town that I could see. And then I would start making up, and then like making up names. And half of the time, like I would get stuck with like, what name should I give them? So I would like start naming people Bob and like John, and like, so in a fantasy setting with a lot of like elvish name, a lot of dwarvish name, all of a sudden you randomly ask me, oh, what is this like beggar on the other side of the street. Oh, this beggar is named Bob. Yep, that's what his name. And this is canon. And knowing my players, they would like really gravitate towards this player. And like in the last campaign that I ran, there was one character, almost like a throwaway character. His name was Welby. He was a soldier, and the group kind of took him in. And through some great dice rolling, Welby survived like a battle that all the other NPCs died. So the players were like, Welby is our savior. We're gonna, again, not a character that was part of anything. I just like randomly gave a name Welby, and he was through with the group for the entire campaign from that point on. So that is kind of a situation I find myself quite a lot. And the other part also is, let's say, like locations. Like people want to see what is in this town square, and then I have to like make up. Oh, there is like a small potion shop. Oh, what is the name of the potion shop? Oh, okay, I don't know. I'm gonna make up some name, and then like, okay, so what is interesting about it? So all of these things kind of led me to like, can I use these large language models and these tools to help me in this creative process? Like whatever I have for the actual like campaign, those exist. But on top of that, can I use these tools to help kind of create the world, like flesh out the world even more than I already have done? So that's where we started from. This is where we're gonna do. But before we do, let's get us all introduced one more time in the context of the game. We are in a small town, and this is like we already have started. Like I have to like come up with a name of this town that we're talking about. So what is this town that we're in? That is a great question that nobody has asked yet, but I'm going to answer anyway. Okay, so this is not the one. Hold on, I wrote this down.
Do you need to share a screen?
No,
I'll you've got it. You're all set. All right, never mind. I'll stop interjecting.
All right, so you are in a small town called Ato, which used to be in the middle of a desert and completely kind of underground in the sand. But recently, through some magical means or some sandstorm, we don't necessarily know how, a lot of the sand has kind of moved away, and almost like a lost civilization has been found under this like sand dune that was there. And because there's a new discovery, a lot of the people are kind of like flocking towards. For some people are going there just to like see what's out there. Some people are going there like looking for riches. Your party happens to be there as well for some reason or another, which we'll find out what your personal reason for being there. Maybe some of you got tasked by like a nearby town to kind of investigate this situation, what is in there. Find out like if it's dangerous to them, or is that like what is the cause of this sudden appearance of this lost city. But with that, I'm gonna kind of pass it back to you. All of you kind of describe what your name was, but like tell us a little bit more about what your character is, like what kind of class you're playing, and if you have like thought of any kind of backstory of why your character adventures. So like we're gonna pass it off, starting off in going down the list from Mark.
Fantastic. Oh gosh, I've thought about this way too much. Okay, so yes, I'm Malkazish. I am a orc monk. So I like to use my giant hands to pummel things. But I do have a gambling problem, and I make bad decisions. So my backstory is very much like I became a monk because I was trying to avoid my gambling debts from organized crime, and I needed somewhere to run. So I ended up in a monastery, and I stayed there for a really long time. And so now I have these monk abilities. I think I'm smarter than I am, which is unfortunate because it's how I get in trouble. But I'm acrobatic enough and dexterous enough and strong enough and big enough to get my way out of other things through other means. But if anyone wants to buy a bridge in like Escobar, like I know a dude, he's got a really great price. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, awesome. Moving down the list, Misa.
All right, so whoever's screen sharing, can you pull up my character card?
Oh yeah, I'm moving on.
Yeah, so I am an elf wizard. Also, this is the first time I've played D&D, so I don't have extravagant backstories, but I will try to come up with one. So Misa is an elf wizard, has very high intelligence and knows a ton about like arcana and like the history of the world, of this magical realm. she primarily like moves through the world with like magic instead of like brute force, and so like finding clever ways to get through situations as opposed to just bulldozing through. Let's see. She's also like really good at investigation, which is apparently helpful, especially probably for this scenario because we need to know what's going on in the situation. So Misa might have some insight there. But if anyone comes to attack us, like Misa might not be at the front of the line. So
Yeah.
anything else you would add, Mofi, as
Yeah, no, I think in this situation, I would say for this one shot, maybe because you are a wizard and like a new city kind of showed up in the middle of nowhere, you were probably getting asked by the nearby town where you, probably a librarian or some kind, probably asked you to look into it if you can uncover some tomes of some kind from this new location. Cool. That probably would start, and we'll find out who this NPC that kind of gave you the quest is in a second. I did some stuff to make that part easier for me. So moving on to Soroban, the turtle. You are muted, Olivier.
Oh, wait, that's me. I'm not used to having a different name. Whoa. That's the problem. Okay. Yeah, I can try something. So my name is Soroban. I'm a turtle. Growing up, I was very interested in learning new things or education and all that stuff. I was always daydreaming about exploring the world and seeing what's out there. And so I took up somewhat of a life as a sailor. Explored the seas. Picked up a couple of nice tricks over time, like some sort of magical abilities as well as medicine competencies. And now it's been a handful of years, and I getting a little bit tired of the season, so I'm back on land to see what awaits next.
Yeah, I would also kind of probably throw in, because you're like a fighter and you are from the same town as Misa, you're probably getting sent with her as kind of helping her from the town, so that you can, because she's a wizard, probably like a squishy wizard. That's kind of like the what's the word, stereotype in D&D, that like wizards are never the front line. So like you're getting sent with her in this journey to help discover some of this stuff. All right, like moving on to Cecil.
All right. Cecil, I used to be a dark knight until I was betrayed by my lord, who, and then after that, went on a quest to become a paladin. And after becoming a paladin, is now, still on a quest for vengeance. I guess you can go on a quest for vengeance as a paladin, or something like that, or redemption quest. And that's about as far as I got.
Yeah, no worries. I think what I would say here is that Cecil probably heard about like this location having some sort of an artifact that relates to your past life. So you're kind of it's more of like a nostalgic value. You knew of this city that before it went under the sand, and now you just heard about this city kind of resurrecting, which is coming back, like bringing back memories, and you were just trying to get back into it, or like find something like that would give you some peace, because like this life of vengeance takes toll on one person over time. So that could be something there. And finally, the only returning member from our last one shot, Elbreth. What's Elbreth up to?
So I do not remember what backstory I gave Elbreth last time, so this could be completely different, but that's okay. So hello, I'm Elbreth. I am a half wood elf cleric. I am very interested in nature and exploring. I love connecting with other people, so I love adventuring and meeting new people. I build bridges wherever I go. I'm very passionate about animals and a special interest in healing. So I'm not really drawn to dangerous situations. I'm kind of cautious, but I like to be prepared and help people when they do get hurt.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, I would basically like in the last one we talked about how you had like two troublemaker with you, like the I'm a cat and carrot cake, and you were kind of like keeping them in line and getting them out of trouble every now and then. I would say like that kind of continued on, and carrot cake and I'm a cat are uh, doing something else, or it could be that you lost them and you're kind of looking for them, and knowing how they are and knowing a new city kind of popped up out of the sand, it is possible that they're probably in there too. So you're kind of hanging out with this group and like discovering this, and you're also looking for your other two companion in the mix. I think that
I think they're doing great because
yeah,
like we were on task, everything was wonderful, and I'm just like going to visit some more friends,
yeah,
like
for sure.
people I know and new people. It's all good.
Yeah, so like we were talking about right before we started that like this could be also that some like a group of people you knew when you were younger, like maybe like in high school, like if fantasy high school, let's call it that. Yeah, and then so some of that also could be in the mix that you kind of reconnected after some time, about 10-15 years later. All right, so let's before we jump into it, like at the actual thing, let's talk about what we're going to talk about. So number one, this season of this Code Live with Google Cloud has all been about like GKE and running these models yourself. So let's start there for a second, right? So I have a GK cluster here, which is a GK standard cluster, and I have a H100 node pool, which has like 8 NVIDIA H100 GPUs, each with 80 gigabytes of video RAM. Um, I have 8 because they're the smallest I could get. I can really get less than 8, but I only need one of them. I'm only using one of them for now. And what I'm running on it is a container that is running the Olama software. So if you know Olama, it's kind of way to run like bunch of different models in a like a thing that packages up the large language model running part on your behalf. So it is kind of like inference engine similar to something like TGI or VLLM, but the main case for Olama seems to be something to do with like running these models locally. Although Olama does a pretty decent job of being able to host it on a cloud provider as well, very similarly. So Olama also comes with like a Docker image that you can use to package the model we want to run. And the model we're running today is Llama 3.3 70B. So this is a fairly new model. I think it came out. This is not the one we are talking about. Let's search it. 3.3. Yeah, so this is a 70 billion model, and it got released, I don't know how long ago, but I would say fairly soon. It got released 3 weeks ago. So the cool thing about this model is this is a 70 billion parameter model, but in testing, this performed almost as well as the Llama 3.1 405 billion parameter model. So it's a much smaller model, performs way above its weight grade, if you will. So we have this model running on a GK cluster, and in my now I'm just port forwarding that service, which we can look at actually. Where am I running this? So workloads, I have wrong model, so let's get rid of this, open this up, refresh. Let's see where is okay. So this Olama service that is running, and then I also have, where is my service? Almost never look at it in this view. So
It's under networking.
oh wow, okay, that's all right. Cool. So let's refresh this. And it's services. There you go. So I have this Olama service that is basically exposing this Olama that is running. And in my local machine, I have basically a port forwarding set so that I could basically talk to this Olama model that is running this thing. On the other side of it, if you have never heard of it, this thing is called GenKit, which is like a tool that came out of Firebase team, and this lets you. The easiest way to talk about GenKit is GenKit gives you some tools to abstract away some of the accessing model part in a much nicer way than having to talk to each model individually. So under GenKit, you could have like Gemini models that you can talk to as a plugin, or in this case, we're talking to like something running under Ollama. And the way we talk to it is you basically define this GenKit object and set up these plugins. In this case, we're talking to Ollama, where it's talking to whatever model we're talking to, and we're going to use generate here. And then you can create something called flows, and Ollama, like GenKit, also have ways to like do tool usage, like function calling, and all this fun stuff kind of wrapped up. So using all of this, I am running like a Next.js application as well as GenKit server. So before I do anything else, let me quickly show you the GenKit UI, what we're doing here. And this is kind of a little bit of a spoiler because like we're gonna run this in a second, but this also gives you like shows you what we're gonna see in a second.
Can you make that bigger, Murphy?
Yeah, let's bump up the font a little bit.
Thank
that
you.
should be great. So let's do a simple example of what is going to happen. So one of the things that happens quite a lot is in D&D, there's a lot of people, even in this group, that know how to cast spells. And let's say you cast a spell, and one of the things I could say, be like, oh, you cast this spell and the spell is done. But I think sometimes it could be fun to have like a more vivid description of what that like casting of that spell looks like. So if one of you can look at your character sheet, let's look at, because I know Misa is a wizard, definitely will have a lot of spells. So let's say one of the spells here, let's say Friends. Friends is a spell Misa can cast. So let's say Misa casts Friends. And instead of just saying you cast Friend and this is what happens, I want to be able to kind of describe what it looks like as you cast this spell, right? Like this kind of like a more of a engaging, I feel like, instead of just saying, oh, you cast Friends and it's done. So instead of saying you cast Friends, I say as you cast the spell Friends, a warm, gentle glow begins to emanate from your outstretched hand. It's very long. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But I'm saying like in a game situation, if it's like a really momentous occasion where like it's a do or die and you cast this spell, instead of just saying you do this and this happens, sometimes I feel like reading this out loud will probably bring people into whatever is happening a little bit more. Like you can read it. It's gonna be in the screen for a second. I don't know if it's like doing the right thing. It seemed to be doing the right thing. On top of that, there are a couple of other things that is happening underneath. Like one thing you could be thinking, okay, what if this large language model basically hallucinates and makes up whatever the friend spell mean, right? Like this large language model does not know the nitty-gritty details of every single spell that happens in D&D. That's where some of the other things comes in. We're going to see what that is. Actually, we'll just see it now because that is the point. So instead of basically just saying, like, tell me what the friend spell look like, what I can do is define a tool. What I'm doing here is instead of basically hoping that my large language model will just know what the friend spell look like, I am letting the model, basically giving the model additional information by calling an API. So there is this DND 5E API that you could all see, DND 5E API. It's like an open API thing. So you could pretty much like friends. I could just
make it bigger.
Oh, bigger. Yeah. Okay. Friends.
Is it spells or just spell?
Oh yeah, could be. It is supposed to be spells. Okay, let's do just spells. Okay, that's that. Friends. Friends. Oh, friends is not found.
Capital F?
Maybe. No. Okay, let's try a different spell.
Prestigation.
Okay. I'm not gonna be able to spell that. So I'm gonna do ending. So yeah, this API lets me get basically a description of what this spell like is. This is from the official rules of D&D. But one of the things you'll notice, like what I'm doing is I'm basically giving the description to my model and asking it to like create a visual description of what this looks like. So in this case, my model's probability of hallucinating from this point, because I'm giving it all the context it needs to know exactly what this spells looks like. So I have a much better probability of getting really good response back from the model. Other cool things about GenKit, again, this is not a session about GenKit, but it could be. I really like GenKit. I think the stuff they're doing there are really cool. It's still on 0.09, so it's getting there to like a full stable release. But I think once it gets there, it's gonna make building application with large language models a lot easier. Like one of the things that I really like about GenKit is the ability to create something called the .prompt file. What this is instead of you basically trying to prompt like a model purely in text, you could have this .prompt file, which is something that you can check in to your like a Git or whatever, however you do version control. You could have multiple versions of them over time, and you could actually do like a regression testing and all that stuff. So instead of basically just hoping that whatever prompt you wrote 6 months ago is still great, you could actually have a systematic way to test that whatever you did before is still good. Also, other thing it lets you do is define, instead of just sending text and getting text back, you could actually define a schema for your input and output. So you could send JSON as an input, and you can get JSON back as an output. So if you just get raw text, testing that is basically impossible. One of the things I have heard people have done is that like get a large language model to generate something and then take that output and send it to a different large language model and ask it whether or not that output was good, which is a very bizarre thing to think about if you've been like doing software and testing for a while. Like you're basically hoping that if you test it 5 times and your chance of error has gone down, that's the only thing you're testing there, right?
Mofi, can you maybe, if you could show us like maybe some of this stuff while we're playing as well, that would probably really good context, and we
sure.
can,
Like,
we can
so
sort of
this is the
move forward.
profile. Yeah. So I just wanted to give like why GenKit is cool, but let's jump into we're gonna see how GenKit is helping me build a tool that I personally want to see in this world. So let's move to where we are, right? So I said the name of the location. I'm gonna have to look at my notes one more time. The name of the location is Athol, and that's where the sand dune has like moved. A new city has popped up, and we start off at all of you at the entrance of this new city, which is now beyond the sand. You see a bunch of like these old buildings that looks fairly pristine for something that have been under sand for God knows how long. So all of you are here, and as we discussed earlier, all of you kind of know each other already, and you are in front of this thing, and you see near the entrance, this person is talking to a couple of the guards that have now guarding this new place, and this person has like a thick glasses and wearing a backpack with bunch of like papers and other things sticking out of it. And you are kind of far, you don't hear exactly what they're saying, but like this person is frantically talking to this guard. What do you do? So this is for the players playing for the first time. This is the classic call to action to all the people. What do you do? Now you get to decide what you want to do from this point on.
So we've been we haven't seen each other forever, and we're all like eagerly looking forward to going to the local pub, getting some beverages, and some of us are a little hungry, a little thirsty, and we see this person. We should. I don't know. He seems like he's having problems. Should we go help him, or what do you all think?
I mean, maybe we invite him along with us to go to the pub.
Yeah, you could go do that. Like, so does anybody go up and speak to the people?
Who has the highest charisma?
So that's really great to see you all. I'm so happy to see you. Like, oh my god, dude, this is like amazing. But like, can we get like a dice game somewhere? Is there a game we can play? Like, there's a dude over there. Cool. But like, I want to like, I need to make some money. I need to make some money. Forget the
Yeah,
someplace
so,
Oh no, are you having money problems again? Like,
I mean,
what did you do?
I wouldn't call them problems. I would really kind of call them opportunities, really. Like, I hear there's a lot of money to be made here, so I'm kind of like just in town. I
This
hear it's
is
like a sure thing. It's
fascinating.
definitely a
You
sure thing. It's
haven't
definitely this
changed at
time,
all.
definitely sure thing. Definitely.
So as you kind of like are talking about, is there any game, you actually notice there is like a small gathering in the corner, like not near the entrance of this place, but kind of towards the corner, like near the dark alley. There is like a small group of people. It looks like they're doing something with dices on the ground. And like there's like a small gathering of like 6 to 8 people that are like eagerly looking. So you kind of like notice that immediately as you're thinking about, is there any game happening anywhere?
So like I'm immediately drawn because I have a gambling problem, and so I definitely wander over there. I don't know if what's going. Like, dude, there's a game. I gotta go over there. I mean, I'm definitely gonna win this time. Absolutely, without a doubt. This is my day. This is my lucky day. I'm definitely in. So I wander over and go to see what they're doing.
All right. So this is the first thing, right? So like kind of outside game situation, right? Like as a DM, I put in what the in the industry would call a hook, that there is like a person that is trying to like do something, but like Mark gave the perfect demonstration of one of my players immediately not trying to do that exact same thing and doing something completely different. So you're going off to this corner and I created this world, but again, kind of like peek behind the DM screen a little bit. I have not necessarily prepped all the names of all the people that are doing this street hustle in the corner. So this is the first part of it, where I want to basically quickly get myself an NPC that is going to be the person. So I want to find a street hustler who is scamming people with some dice games. I want to just basically quickly get an NPC that is doing that. And if I like click generate, I build this like in half a day, and I'm terrible at doing UI, so I don't have any loading and anything. But I quickly got I got a person whose name is Finley Swiftfingers.
Love it.
Which should be a dead giveaway if you hear someone who's gambling and his name is Swiftfingers. But again, you haven't heard his name yet, so this is like I would see it. My players probably would not see it. So yeah, you have a human 20, like he looks to be 25, and he looks like, again, he's talking. He's very energetic. He's talking to everybody, and one couple of things is like you hear. Again, this is something I can use as a DM now to basically quickly create a persona for this character that about 6 seconds ago did not exist, right? In a real game, I would probably, like, his name probably would be Bob. But because of this tool, now you go over there and you kind of like, you start walking towards this person and he notices you and see kind of like the group kind of pauses for a second. You are pretty big, you're pretty imposing. He looks at you like, you sir look like a fine business person, and I see you are looking at the game, and I can tell you are over here trying to enjoy this beautiful city of ours. Can I interest you in some games, sir?
Absolutely. I'm lucky. I'm definitely a lucky guy. Oh my God. I'm here. It's great. I'm just so much luck.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
so,
very lucky.
It is, again, very simple game. It is basically a roll off. Whoever rolls higher takes it all. It is super great. It is. So my name is Finley. I am here, the proprietor of this establishment, and it is, you basically bet your money, the whole pot, and whoever rolls the highest takes the whole pot. So what do you say? You wanna get some game going?
Look, Finley, I have to warn you, I'm an extremely lucky guy. I mean, sure, we all have highs and lows, but like, I just want to say, like, if I take your money, I hope you're not too upset.
Of course not, sir. Like this is again, this is entertainment for the most part. So as he kind of says this, you see a couple of other people are like also joining in. How much money would you like to wage?
Let's throw down five gold coins.
5 gold coins. Fantastic choice, sir. There is a small fee of 2 gold to buy into the game. So that's,
I mean, that just makes sense.
I mean,
that makes
that's
sense.
just like
that just makes sense.
table.
That's fair. That's fair. That makes sense.
So you put 5 gold and then 2 more as the buy-in, and see other people also put in the 2. And this is gonna be the first ever roll, right? So this is, you see that you get given a d12, like die to roll,
Okay.
and we're gonna like roll this die and see what you get.
Out of curiosity, what are we rolling against?
So you get an 8. That's a pretty good roll, and you, again, everybody else seem to be rolling very quickly, and this is where I'm gonna ask an outside game. Finley is kind of trying to hustle you by rolling a d20 against your d12, right? But I'm gonna ask you to give a perception check to be able to notice that is happening.
Oh.
So that is the perception for you, right? So you are gonna roll perception. So I'm gonna roll on your behalf. You roll pretty high. 11 minus 2 is a 9. Not bad. Finley gets a +4. I'm just gonna make it up to their deception. So they're gonna roll or sleight of hands in this case. So I'm gonna roll and I'm gonna add 4 to this, whatever they roll. They rolled 18, so 22. All looks great. You don't notice anything. So it looks like.
Can I'm out of character. Like, is I don't know how to pronounce your name, Mark. I'm so sorry. Is this
I'm
Mark's
dreadfully
character?
offended.
Because
Mark
like
is it.
sleight of hand. So is Mark a kind of character that's like, I am a straight player as well, and I will just like not try to cheat, or is it I will cheat because I gotta win, I gotta make some money back, and like what?
I'm chaotic good. So, but I can convince myself that like making money is the best thing that should be happening because I am inherently a gambler.
Yeah, I think for Mark's character here, well, the way I understood it is probably more about he's here for the game more than just like winning. So the game
it doesn't really occur to me to cheat. I'm not that smart.
So Finley is rolling a d20 against your d12. You had an 8, which is not terrible. So like, let's see. Hey, like Finley got a 7, so you actually won even with the d12.
Told you. Look, I am a very lucky guy.
Yeah, you're a very lucky person. Well, so again, there was a pot of 4, so you end up winning 20 gold against your 5. Finley goes, oh, sir, like this is a lucky hot streak I've got going. Would you like to go double or nothing?
Double or nothing. Let's go.
So do you put down all 20 that you just won?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So you roll your d12 again. This is not looking great. So you got a 1, and Finley's gonna roll their d20, and gonna get a 10, which is higher than your 1. He kind of like takes your 20 gold back. So he kind of pockets it. Well, I mean, again, you win some, you lose some. That's kind of like how the cookie crumbles. While this is happening, the rest of you are you kind of like getting Malkuzish out of this situation, or kind of like watching from afar? What are the rest of the people doing?
I mean, we know him well enough from back in the like fantasy high school days that like we could try to convince him that's a bad idea, but like he's got to figure it out on his own, So I'm still on team.
Friends like you, jeez.
No, I mean, like we're just saving some effort,
Yeah. So I mean, so you started with now you have 26.
Yeah, I already dropped it. I don't know. That should show up for you, right?
Yeah, it should update on my end as well. Okay, so you have 26 golds left. So do you keep going? Now. You are.
I'm gonna turn around and be like, guys, you guys should get in on this. This is I almost won 20 gold. You should all come in on this. This is a great game. Great game. What was your name again? You're a great dude.
Yeah. My name is Finley Swiftfinger.
Finley, mate. Oh, so good to meet you. Oh my god, everyone, just come meet Finley. Finley's a dude. This is so much fun.
You're mighty kind. Yeah, please. As you kind of like do this, I would say anybody who else is like now watching, give me a perception check from the rest of the group, and I'm gonna roll for individually each of you and see how that goes. Perception on or insight could be also. So I'm gonna roll perception, whatever the higher between. Okay, so for Cecil, I'll roll insight. That is a 19. Great. And then Elbert, I would probably do an insight as well. That is a 7. That's not great. I would say Elbert is probably like keeping an eye out for the rest of the thing. could be an investigation from Misa in this situation. Not great. It's a 9. And then Soroban probably would be making something like I don't know, perception. Let's do that. All right, 18. So I think a couple of people had 18 and 19. One of the things you notice that the other two players that are like the part of it look to be like not necessarily like free players. They're just like part of the group itself. Like their clothing look very similar. And they're like just hyping the game up so that like some unsuspecting fool joins this situation and loses some of their hard-earned cash. So you kind of notice that on the like you see they're like making eye contact, and as like Malkuzish is like calling more people, they look a little concerned that like the other people look to be more discerning than this particular person that joined their table right now. So this is like I think we said like a Cecil and Soroban kind of notices this.
So as I noticed this, I turned to Finley and I because I realized that there's something weird going on, and I raised my voice and I asked him like, what is happening here? Like, are you cheating us? And I'd like to roll an intimidation check.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, that's perfect. So again, you are a fighter. You have like a lot of weapons on you and such, and you just try to intimidate this person. You don't roll a lot super high. So as you kind of like roll this, you see like there is like 3 or 4 people playing. There's like a group of 5 or 6 more people around. They have a pretty decent chunk. Finley kind of looks at you, looks very offended, goes, "Sir, you just accused me of cheating on my own game, sir. This is very inappropriate. I do not appreciate your tone. And I would ask that you take your business elsewhere, sir. We do not condone this kind of behavior at this establishment."
I'm like, Sirban, what are you doing? This guy's a dude. He's my friend. We just best friends now. Like, we're what's going on here? I don't understand. Like, this guy's great. Come on, Finley's great.
You look like a worthy business person and continue of this our relationship. But the company you keep, sir, it is despicable of the accusation that was made against my honor. And
that's way harsh, dude. Come on, these are great people. You're a great part. Like, we can have fun. We can have fun.
I mean, yeah. I mean, let's just do one more round. And I feel like the mood has been soured. And no, like you are great. You're fantastic. It was great doing business with you, but I mean, this kind of accusation, it makes me angry. Like you want to do honest business in this honest town, and then you get like accused, and the people like you see murmuring of like, yeah, this is like Finley have been doing business in this town for so long. Yeah, so like you are going down for one more round, and let's just go all in, right? Let's just like drop in 20 gold each. Let's just make a big game.
No thanks.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm going to the tavern with Elizabeth.
I'm like,
yeah,
Cecil, can you loan me like 10 gold? Can you loan me like just 10 gold? Can you loan me? I'm gonna win this time for sure. For sure. You should definitely do it. Come on, 10 gold.
I'm gonna go with the others.
Oh man. Okay. Serban, 10 gold. Come on, like 10 gold. Like you could.
Let's go get a meal. Come on, you are hungry. Come back and play later.
Yeah. Also, they have a card game at the tavern. Like,
whoa. Okay. Finley, it's been great. I heard there's a card game. Dice is my thing, but cards could be great. I gotta go.
I mean, if you want to get like ripped off, that's what the big like. Oh, again, anything with the
I don't get ripped off. It doesn't happen. Never happens. No once. So like, I mean, this was great fun, but I'm gonna go get a card game.
Well, it was my pleasure doing business. I would say that your companions need to watch what they're saying to respected business person in this town. But other than that, it was very nice meeting you.
Sorry, man. Be chill. It's cool. All right, I'm sure we'll see you around. I'll take off with my friends.
with that, I think the group kind of moves on. So kind of peek behind the curtain, what had happened here. So one of the things that is like we generated this NPC, kind of like gave it a description. And to have done that, we have this NPC prompt, which takes in like a description string, like whatever you want to say, could give it a like a species, you can define the name as well, define their profession, whatever you want to do. And then the model is going to take that, and with some like system prompt, it's just going to generate that NPC with the description and also give you back like in a JSON format. So instead of just having like raw text, I would end up getting like something that is like much more easily available to manipulate. On top of that, one of the things I'm also doing is instead of just like doing it one-off, I'm also storing this particular NPC in Firestore database, right? So as I am like generating this, where am I generating this? I'm generating this as part of GenKit here. And let's go up to NPC description. I'm also writing that into like a Firebase collection. So this is like, I'm gonna, if I refresh the page, I'm gonna have this NPC that is there. So in the future, if I need to basically connect some dots and like, or like you were back in this location, I would not have to like think, okay, what was this NPC? What was he about? So I have all of this information just readily available with me at all times. Now, people talked about getting to a tavern, right? So let's make it new tavern, right? Like what taverns are people finding? So tavern in village in the middle of the desert. Okay, so that's the tavern we're generating. So let's see what kind of tavern we get. Again, needed to add some loading animation that I didn't do. And we get a new tavern. So like as you kind of like kind of get to the near the gate, you see the town's guard. Obviously, Misa have the proper paperwork to enter this new town. So you kind of like pass through that and you get pointed towards this tavern. And you see this is like a old new tavern. Like it's a tavern that existed in the past, but now that the whole town has been uncovered from beyond the sand, you now like some people kind of like took residence in and like kind of like cleaned it up a little bit to make a new tavern. Again, there is sand still everywhere, but this place looks to be the most clean because more people go in and out. And you see like a sign that was like popped up next to it. It says the Oasis. That's the tavern. And so like one thing that happens with me again, like at the new location that I'm just making up, I need to basically have ways to like in a pre-written adventure, I could basically just say, okay, I have some written content about what is going to happen. But in a like a sandboxy, like that's the word you're gonna hear in D&D terms a lot, which is instead of like having predetermined outcome, you just basically let players do whatever they want to do and kind of like keep building the world from that point on, which is the point of sandboxes. So in a sandbox environment, I would like to have like bunch of things available to me at all times to throw those plot hooks to continue the story on in a like a satisfactory direction. In this case, like for example, in this tavern, you like these rumors again, peek behind the curtain, you don't get to know this, but once you enter the tavern, you might like talk to some patrons, and I would be able to basically sprinkle in some of this like details to kind of hook you into talking to more people, discovering and investigating more stuff. It's like secret, right? The tavern is a front for a group of smugglers who use it to transport goods across the desert. That could be like a fun little like side quest that you kind of take on and do. But like I pretty much have this like at my disposal whenever I want to throw in some interesting tidbits about information. For example, let's say you go to this tavern, and now that I know that this secret exists, I could basically say smuggler who is disguised as bard in a tavern, right? So I can like generate this new NPC that is kind of like tying into that secret of this tavern is a front for smugglers. Now, yeah, so Era Shadowglow, who is also half elf, and yeah, so like basically I can just pass this in, and the large language model will then take it and basically make up the secret. The secretly a smuggler. Bardic performance motivation is financial gain. Personality, quick-witted, and voice is melodic and persuasive. I don't know if I can actually roleplay that well to like do the voices that well, but I still have a point of reference to start from and something that is generally unique enough where I could probably make differentiation. So it is, instead of me trying to keep all this information in my brain, I'm offloading some of the decision making onto a tool. So I have these two people. Again, you did not see this, you do not know this. You just walk into this bar and you see this like small bar, and like this tavern with like not too many people, about 6 or 7 people, and you see in the corner this bard is playing some tunes, and again the cue like Mediterranean, like deserts music that they're playing, and you just like walk into this tavern. What do you do?
So I'm all about the nature, and like I feel like as I'm walking in, there are scents that I can just like, it's so fragrant, and I feel like I almost recognize them, and I want to know more. Like what is that? Like, is there like some tasty goodness that I might want to try? All that goodness.
Yeah. So you kind of like walk into this tavern and you're like looking around, and you kind of like smell this things. You see this like barkeep behind this the kind of like cleaning, and they look like they're constantly cleaning because there's sand everywhere, and they're just like cleaning the countertop, and by the time they finish it, a gust of wind brings more sand and like immediately like covers the tabletop again. So he just like shakes his head and starts cleaning again. Looks at all of you. Welcome everybody. Welcome to, I forget the name already. Welcome to the Oasis. How can I help you?
We need a card game for Malk Urish. Otherwise, he's gonna like go back to the weird guy at the entrance. So we need to find something for him to do.
Oh my god, this would be fantastic! Thank you, thank you. You should play. We should play together. We should play cards together.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the people that are running the card game were scamming all of my patrons, so I had to kick them out. So
Finley was right. Finley was right. He told us this. He told us they would scam, and he was right.
No. It was Finley's group. Like they were running scam here. Like
really?
I
Finley?
Finley out. That's
my buddy, my friend, my best friend. Well, maybe not best friend. You're all my best friend, but like very good friend Finley, who I met 15 seconds ago.
Oh yeah, his last name is Swiftfingers. Like, do you understand? That's how. Do you know how he got his name?
I don't get it.
Yeah. He is very swift with his fingers. He changes the cards and the die to scam people.
What does swiftness have to do with changing? I don't know.
Well,
I don't understand. He seemed like such a nice guy. I guess I don't know. I scratched my orcish head.
I don't know what to tell you. Do you want any food or drinks? That's something I could probably help with.
What do you reckon, everyone? Should we get some food? Should we get some drinks? I mean, we're here. I guess, I can play another day, I suppose.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm starving.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of supplies here. It's a new tavern that we have opened up, but we have some like dried meat. We probably can get some stew, and we obviously have ale. We could probably set something up there. I can just take that table over there. That looks
dude empty. Ale.
Yeah. Well,
a round of ale for me. I'll buy you all a glass of ale. Everyone gets ale.
Okay. Cool. Like, as you kind of say this, you see a couple of the other patrons kind of like, when you say round of ale and then you say for me, they look very disappointed because they thought you were saying round of ale for everyone.
For my friends.
Yeah. So they kind of like park up, and then immediately, oh, okay, no, it's not for us. It's not something I need to care about. So you kind of go sit down, and it looks like he's the only person working. So he brings in like the pitcher of ale, some cups for all of you, and sets up the table and goes like, okay, so we have dried meat and stew. Would that be something you'd be interested in? That's the only two things we have we don't really have anyone else working. So
Yeah, let's do stew. For the
okay,
table.
all right. So some stew coming up. So they, you see under the bar, like he kind of like pulls up this like cloth because he has to like keep all the food under because again a lot of sand. He pours out some of them in some of the bowls and brings it to the table, and you have now ale and stew in this. So again, all of you had some task at hand that you wanted to achieve. For example, mainly Misa had the task of like investigating the temple that is like recently uncovered and possibility of having some arcane secrets that the librarian that that gave you the task would like you to investigate. So that is something that exists. You know, the guard also pointed you towards the back of the town where this temple, again the temple is not fully uncovered, it's pretty big, it's kind of like halfway through, but you could probably go help the digging excavation that is happening to figure out more stuff there. So yeah, so you have food now, you have drinks. What would you like to do next?
Yeah, I definitely want to check out the temple for sure. And maybe I can help them clear some sand out with my magic abilities.
Okay, cool.
I don't know like what spell does that, but
Yeah, we'll figure it
Misa,
out.
is there opportunity for money here? Is that
Yes,
I've seen
definitely.
some treasure. Okay, I'm in.
There
I'm
could
in.
definitely be treasure in the
Yeah,
sand.
I heard there were some really great opportunities in this town. Definitely great opportunities. So I'm very excited about this.
You know what's funny is I'm actually looking for some treasure. I'm looking for some scrolls, some arcana in the temple. So can you help me find the treasure?
Is there like shiny bright gold things?
Yes.
Like, yeah. Okay. That's
The ends of the scrolls have
that's,
shiny gold things on them.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm hearing.
Yes.
I don't read so good sometimes. So like, yeah, like bright shiny things are definitely in my wheelhouse.
Amazing.
Yeah. So like as you're kind of like talking, you talk about like bright shiny gold things. You see like the bard that was playing the music kind of stops for a second and walks over to your table and goes, what brings all of you to the town? You look like you are out of town from here, and all of you are not fully covered in sand. So yeah, what brings you all to town?
Isn't there a spell where you can talk to somebody else's mind?
Yeah, it's called message. So yeah,
I think I have it.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, let's see.
Here's a message.
But you can't read their mind. It just sends a message.
No, so when you send it to someone, if you like your like friend, they can respond back telepathically as well.
But you can't see what they were thinking before you sent the message.
No. So there is another spell called detect thought that can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think you have that spell as well. Let's look at it. Let's see if you have detect thought. You have detect magic. You have detect thought as well.
Okay, great. Let's do that to find out like whether he's trustworthy or not.
So the bard is a she, and
Okay.
yeah, it could cast it. So detect thought. Let's see how detect thought. This is again the third thing and the last thing I have built. So you can. I want to see like as you cast the spell, what does it look like as you cast it? So that's I'm not gonna read all of this, but I I could. But the point is, like, you know, it creates a pretty interesting like a description of what this casting of this spell would look like. So you are casting this spell on this character, Era Shadow Glow, and they're gonna have to make a wisdom save. For some reason, would be set to 13, which makes sense. 10 plus 3.
Okay,
Yeah.
New question. What's a save?
Save. So in D&D world, when you're casting a spell, some spell is just like, or attacking someone. Something is like you do something and damage happens or something happens. Some of them, the other party could basically roll a die to see whether or not they take like the worst of the effect, or they can somehow protect themselves from the worst of the effect.
Cool.
So the spell, where is it? So the spell detect thought, basically, if you cast it, you can basically get the surface level thought for anyone that you choose without doing anything. But you could basically try to probe deeper to get more of their thoughts, a little bit deeper thoughts. But in that case, they will get to make a save. And also, they would know that you have tried doing this, right? So just by casting the spell, you would use this spell slot, and then you would get some surface level thought. And what you get from this person is kind of, you feel this like greed and like interest in hearing about like gold and like some arcana and magical scrolls. That's kind of what you get from a surface level. Now you do have the choice of kind of trying to probe deeper, but two things: A, they would know that you tried doing this, and B, like they could make the save and you might not get anything more. So the question is, do you try to probe deeper?
No, I don't think we need to.
Okay.
But I think it's like already suspicious. I'm using my investigation skills here. It's already suspicious because we weren't talking to the bard about any of this.
Uh-huh.
And she clearly is like up to something nefarious. If
Cool. Yeah. So you basically are not talking for a second, and she goes, is everything okay? You just froze for a second, and your eyes started glowing. Is everything okay?
Yeah, allergies to the sand, you know.
Ah, yeah, no, that is all over the place. I mean, there is this like this like temple that showed up, and a lot of people like came around and started digging, and then like a lot of people came, and there was like a lot of trouble in the town with the temple. So like we see new faces, we kind of get a little wary, like kind of understand what their intentions are and what they're trying to achieve, you know. So I mean, I did not mean to pry into your business too much, but it's uh, just see like a bunch of new faces, and like people have weapons on them, and like looks like we just want to make sure like the peace is preserved. You know what I mean? Like I did not want to uh, cause any trouble for the most part. So yeah, so I would leave you to it. I would enjoy your meal and your drinks, and she kind of like moves back a little bit. Yeah.
So I'm gonna be my typical golden retriever self, and be like, Era, no, you can come hang out with us. It's totally fine. You seem cool. I noticed that she plays an instrument. I reach over. I haven't explained this to everyone yet. I have a set of bagpipes called Justine, that comes with me everywhere. And I tap Justine on the side, which I've got right here. I'm like, this is Justine. I love my instruments too. Come on, maybe we should play together or something. We should hang out. We should totally be friends.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. You have a bagpipe. I have a lute. Like, do you play regularly?
I play. I mean, Justine's really more of my lucky charm, but yeah, we can play. I can play a little. Like it's absolutely.
I would love to. Like, would you start us off with a tune?
All right, fantastic.
Okay, so this is going to be a performance check for like a playing instrument. You have a -3 to performance. So let's see where the dice gets us, right? So it is possible to like go in.
Oh, I love this guy.
Yeah,
it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really bad.
It's not terrible.
It's okay. It's okay.
So you basically like start playing the bagpipe, and because you've been like walking through a lot of the sand, like as you start playing, basically just like sand comes out. Like nothing actually makes any noise. It's just like sand coming out in all the holes. And yeah, it sounds like it's a bagpipe, but it sounds pretty terrible. She goes like, oh yeah, yes, you do play the bagpipes. No, I think, and as you see, she kind of like twists the top of the lute and breaks it a little bit. I think my lute just broke. I'm gonna have to go fix it. Yeah, but no, it was a cool hang-in.
Next time, maybe we'll play again next time.
Yeah,
anytime. I'm here. Me and Justine just hanging out, all our buddies, just chilling.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so yeah, I'll just go, and she kind of like walks towards the back and starts talking to a couple of other people. Yeah, so at this point, I would say like you have finished your food and like settled the tab, like paid whatever you needed to pay, and then you are still in the tavern and you have kind of free reign of whatever you want to do. So, what would you like to do?
Is Misa a planner?
Yeah.
Awesome. So you've got a plan. So, I'm not really into books or learning, but it sounds like you need some friend. Why don't we go check out your temples? Go find some of this learning that you're interested in. I'm
Yeah,
eager to help you.
definitely. Yeah. Let's see if we can help them uncover some rare arcana.
Yeah, so all of you kind of like leave this tavern. Is there anything else people would like to do before you kind of get out of here or do something else?
Cecil, I feel like you've been very quiet. You seem like you observed some interesting things happening earlier. Is there anything uh, you're feeling?
I think going outside will be great.
Awesome.
Yeah, so like all of you like step out again. This town is not necessarily like somewhere like a lot of people live. It looks like for the most part like the houses that got uncovered underneath is being used for miners to like kind of live while they kind of do the excavation for a lot of these places. So there are people but not a lot of people, and during the daytime most of the people seem to be not within like these houses. So there are like couple, you can see a few people walking and milling about, but not necessarily like a busy town if you like think about it. Also, like because the guard kind of pointed towards where the temple would be, you kind of see the top of this temple, not too far, maybe like a couple of 100 feet from where you are right now. So all of you kind of like start walking towards it again. A lot of sand everywhere, and the sun is beaming pretty hard, so it's very bright, like all around it, super bright. And as all of you are walking, you actually notice like towards the corner of your eye, someone is trying to like wave towards all of you. And like the city itself has like a small wall, so there's like a small opening in the one of the side of the wall, and this one person is waving and trying to get your attention.
I immediately wave back because I make friends with everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, how you doing?
Keep it down. Keep it down.
Sorry, what? Keep what down? You seem like what's up?
He kind of like puts his hood back up. He goes, come over here.
Oh, come over there? Yeah. Okay.
And then I elbow you, and I'm like, you're ruining it.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, so you kind of like walk over there to this person, and like again, there's like it's like a very small opening. He can only poke his head inside, and the wall itself is not super high, but this person looks to you like a very short person, like a halfling of some kind. And now that you get closer, you actually notice this is the same person that was talking to the guard earlier when you were like went gamble, and by the time you finished gambling, you did not see him again. But it looks like he kind of went around and tried to enter this town through the wall, and now he's on the other side. He's like, all of you are already inside. Like, it looks like you had you had the permit to enter the city. Like, can one of you kind of like, he kind of shows you, he has like a bundle of rope. Like, can one of you throw this rope on the other side of the wall so that I can get inside?
You know I'm gonna do this, right?
I'm like, that rope's already like up, and we're like, the rest of us are just like.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, dude, of course, yeah, absolutely. Top of voice, right? Like, absolutely, like drawing attention. But yeah, I will throw that rope.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's great. So he just like throws the rope. Oh, if you wouldn't mind, again, I'm not the strongest person. If you could like pull the rope so that I can like climb over the.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, no question. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So in this case, it could be like acrobatics or athletics. Let's just say it's acrobatics check to like pull this small person outside of the rope. Usually it's like a strength check, so probably athletics. Let's just do athletics. Pretty small DC. Yeah, with 10 doesn't like you have enough time to kind of like pull him. He struggles a little bit on the other side, but he kind of goes to the other side and just like plops onto the other side of the sand, dusts off himself. Like, oh, okay. Oh, that's good. Man, this town is a nightmare. I've been trying to tell this guard that this temple is it's I he kind of like pulls out like a paper. This temple it's kind of a dangerous place, and I've been telling I'm an archaeologist. He needs to let me kind of inspect the place, but I need to apparently have this paperwork or something from the nearby towns. You know what? Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. I'll be on my way. So thank you. Thank you so much for helping.
Wait, I want to jump in and investigate.
So
can we come with him?
I mean, you could like talk to him. So basically, the other like D&D part of things is like investigate is like your action that you want to like. Investigate is not something you do. You do something that makes you investigation check. So are you trying to kind of gauge like his like backpack or like his appearance? Like what are you trying to do?
Well, I'm trying to ultimately investigate the temple. So
Okay.
like we want to go with him. We're interested in the same thing. Our goals are aligned.
Okay. So like what do you tell him to like basically convince him that like this is for me it seems like a persuasion of some kind that you're trying to persuade this person into like letting you go with him.
Yeah.
So like what do you tell this person that is kind of like the check we would go from there?
Hey, there's a ton of sand in there and I'm really good at getting sand out of buildings. So you should definitely have me come along.
Oh, that would actually be really good because like I heard that the miners were having a lot of trouble getting all the sand out. So in this case, like let's say there's one like a moment of being able to show one of the mechanics because you already helped him, your group already helped him get inside, and you also said the same thing like he wanted to hear, like help clearing out this temple and clearing out sand. So you would get a persuasion check with advantage, right? But again, you add 0 to persuasion, but you roll twice and take the higher one. So the first one is a nat 20. So that is great. I'm gonna roll it again anyway, just to see if we get 2 nat 20s. That's always fun. Almost never happens, but it's a 17 and a nat 20. So the one thing about again rules in D&D about rolling dice, if you're rolling die and if there is a chance of success, nat 20 pretty much always means automatic success, right? So in this case, he goes like, "Oh, that is wonderful. Yeah, I am just archaeologist, but I'm pretty small, as you can see. I probably would not be able to do much with the sand. So if you have skills in clearing sand, that would be fantastic. So yeah, please join me. Do also, but do understand that this temple do hold some dangers within it. So you all of you seem like a very capable bunch. So I'm not super concerned about any of the dangers that might befall us. But with all this, let's hurry. Let's get to the temple. So like he kind of like charges on. He turns real quick. One thing though, I did kind of yell at the guard and for not letting me in, and I have with your group's help kind of illegally entered this walled city. So if someone does come for us, I I well I could you just tell them I'm with you, because otherwise like they might try to like put me in jail or something.
I'm immediately in. So I give him a big slutty slap on the back and I'm like, dude, we're friends now. Anything. You come with us. We're good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So like you all of you walk and you kind of like
I think we need to disguise you a little bit though. Like, does anybody have some extra clothing? Yeah, we really should like try to be successful at this masquerade, right?
for Misa, actually, let's so this is something, again, this is your first time playing, so you wouldn't know, but let's just see if you can kind of understand, right? Like, so investigate, or this would be some sort of a, like a what check would that be? Um, Maybe Arcana check from Misa. Let's see if you can understand if there's something you can do to help. So 13 for a total of 18. You actually do have a spell called Disguise Self that
Right.
is only self. So you can actually cast that one. So that would not work. What else can you do to? You could do a minor illusion to make this person look different than they actually are. You could do some sort of what else can you do? Let's see. Yeah, so I don't think you can. You could try to do some sleight of hand to like put some, like, change his clothing a little bit. He's already putting on a cloak, so he's probably already pretty covered up to not be to be less. He's pretty small, so he's kind of like hidden within your group. So he probably would be fine. But if you want to do a sleight of hand to kind of make him look a little bit more different by like changing his hair a little bit, you could also try doing that. Whoever wants to do that. So in the group, actually, uh, Malkuzish has the highest sleight of hand in, in trying to disguise him. So is that something you would want to and try to do? Would he think of it?
He would not, but if Albert suggested it to me, I would do it because I like helping my friends.
Yeah,
I am easily influenced, I feel.
All right, so let's see in this sleight of hand. Yeah, you kind of so you ruffle his hair a little bit, and
like me.
and in your mind, this is like a flawless.
This is so good.
Guy.
Yeah,
It's
this
like
is such a good job.
For a second, you think that he like disappeared, like he's a different person.
Who
like,
even are you? I don't even know.
Yeah, so
we haven't even know your name. That's fine.
Yeah, no one asked him for his name, so yeah, all of you kind of are like walking towards this temple now, and as you kind of like go towards, you see a group of people are like just uncovered a giant door, like a giant wooden door, and some people are trying to like push or like hit the door to open it, and the door seemed to be locked, and there's like a group of people, like workers, that are hitting this door now, and you kind of like reach near this door. What would you like to do?
Cecil, do you want to do anything? Okay. I could maybe use Mage Hand to like try to help open the door. And I could also use that to like remove sand.
Yeah,
So-
you could do that for sure.
So I get wisdom and intelligence confused.
Yeah.
In this case for D&D.
Uh-huh.
Do I like, because my wisdom is higher, but my intelligence is lower.
Uh-huh.
So I thought that's like books where do I feel like this is not, is there any like sense this is not natural and like we should not open that door? Or is this a nah, I don't know this kind of thing. That's not my, like, I feel, because I'm kind of like, this door is closed for a reason. It's buried under a bunch of sand. This feels, I don't know. I'm feeling, ugh.
Yeah, I think they're like different ways, like depending on what you're trying to achieve here. Like one of them could be survival, like is your survival instinct kicking in with this door. One of them could be religion, like whether or not like this door is kicking off some sort of like a cultist vibe on you. It could be also something like a nature or insight, whether or not like the door has anything like any arcana on it that like makes you think it might be dangerous. Or it could like insight could also tell you whether or not it's like it's locked via magical means, or is just like literally stuck because there's a bunch of sand all over the place, right? So
yeah, that feels like the one. Like, is this? It's like this is this? It's years nobody's opened it and it's stuck. Versus this was intentional and like big warnings, don't do it. Like.
Yeah,
So it's like a little bit of survival, I think, instinct kicking in.
Yeah. So let's do an insight and see whether or not. Yeah. So that's a pretty high check. You got an 18. From what you can tell is that it doesn't look like the door is like closed off via some magical means. It's mostly like they just dug this room out from outside, but there might be sand still inside, which is basically stopping the door from being able to open.
I get bored and I try and lift the door.
Yeah. So you're trying to go lift the door. So as you kind of like approach the door closer, like you see a few of the like other people that are working. Like, hey, you have a permit to work here? What are you doing?
You look like you're in trouble. I just wanted to lift the door. I was just gonna lift down and lift the door.
We have been digging this temple for like a week straight. What do you mean you're gonna lift the door? Like, have you seen this door is like a solid 10 feet tall door.
What? Just give it a shot. Just lift the door.
Okay, that's gonna be, I would say, like a athletics check to try to lift a door. It's gonna be a pretty high check. You get a 16, so you kind of like as you try to lift it, the scene from Avengers, like the Age of Ultron, where Cap was trying to lift the Mjolnir. Like you lift it a little bit, but it's still super heavy. So you feel like the door would budge with like a bit more effort to it, but in the current effort, like it just didn't work.
Can I help? Like, is the door wide enough that two people?
Oh yeah, so it's a giant like a double panel door, 10 feet tall, about like 8 feet wide. So yeah, multiple people can get in on this.
Like, what if we all just go in and just help out, try to lift the door?
Yeah.
I look at Sarabon and I'm like, dude, you lift, bro.
Yeah, so like this is another thing about D&D. Like when multiple people are trying to take the same action, there's this idea of helping. So like if Malkuzish is trying to like lift this door up, Saruban can definitely go in and help in doing so. So you would do the check again this time, but this time with advantage. So let's do 2 more rolls. So this is a 7. So like again, first time, like Saruban is just like giving you some guidance, and you are like getting confused and getting it in your head, and you try it again, and this is worse. Like now you're in your head, you're thinking, oh god, can I actually, like people are watching, like I gotta get this, I gotta make this door happen, and you're just like remembering all the times you have in the past, like you tried to do something and it didn't work, and it's just getting worse.
Oh no.
Yeah. Other thing I would say, from Misa's character sheet, you actually have a spell that is purpose built for opening doors. It's called Knock.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so it could be a door, box, a chest, and he casts a spell, and it just
let's cast it.
Yeah, so basically you are like watching all the people are like trying to like do it, get pretty bored of this whole situation. You go ahead. It is your like last 2nd level spell though, so but it is fine. So you go ahead and cast. So for this one, let's go ahead and actually read out what this description, because this is a pretty big moment of being able to open this door. Where's K? Let me go find it, and let's go describe what it would look like as you cast this spell. You see a brief shimmering glow emanating from your outstretched hand. The light is soft and blue-white, resembling the faint sparkle of a struck flint. Ooh, okay. It dances across the surface of the locked door, tracing the edge and contours of the mechanism with an ethereal precision. For an instant, the glow seems to seep into the very seam and hinges of the lock, as if searching out the hidden workings within. Then a fleeting burst of magical energy, the light vanishes, leaving behind only the sound of clicking mechanism and the soft creak of shifting parts of the lock disengage. So you kind of see, there's a sound, and the door kind of thuds, and it slowly creaks in, and there's an opening in the door itself.
And as the door, guys, I opened it. Look what I did. It worked. I lifted it. It worked. It opened. It's great.
Yeah, so the workers that are working there, they actually don't notice you cast the spell from the back. They're like, "Wow, you must be so strong. I mean, I didn't look it before, but you must be what, like 7 feet tall? You are so strong. So this is a little bit of a thing. Mark and I were talking earlier that his character has a little bit of complex about not being 7 feet. So
But I'm 6'10".
he's 6'10", which is a reason of great shame for his character. So as this door opens, you kind of see almost like it's imperceptible for the most part, but it almost seems like a faint noise escapes from within. And okay. So there are more things within inside the temple, which we will probably explore in the future. But for time purposes, let's get back to the another core reason we're here. What we're talking about, the whole Gen AI with GenKit and all that fun stuff. So the code for all of this is in GitHub. Like if you want to like play around with some of this stuff yourself, I will continue building this because this is something I actually want to see. Like there are some things here that are pretty useful for me. Some of the other things that I think would be pretty awesome to have available to me is things like when I'm generating an NPC, be able to attach an NPC to a specific location, right? So that if you go back to that location, I could quickly see who are the NPCs that would be in that location. The other thing that I want to probably add to this as a feature in the future is oftentimes what happens is in a more like complex campaign, let's say I want my players to be in location B and they're in location A right now, and be able to basically quickly figure out hooks to convince the players from going to A to B. And with these tools, they're actually quite straightforward. What I need to basically do, I have a description of location A, I have a description of location B, I have all the NPCs in location A, and I have all the NPCs in location B. I could basically just say, like, give all this information to this LLM and be like, I want my players to have some reason to go from A to B. Give me possible hooks for making that happen, right? So that could be like a pretty nice addition to this tool.
Also, I have a request for feature, Mofi. So what would be nice is you have the DM interface and then you have your user's interface. And then if you could progressively reveal information so they have like this like thing and it's like you generate all the pieces and then it's like here's what you know, and you get like then it's like almost this, it's really helpful because I realize as you're doing things, because parts of the description and parts you're going to share, and it's like you can have the parts where it's the human in the loop like curating and then sharing out. Now we need agents because you need to have the information sharing to the different people. Sorry.
That would be really cool. I think that again, whenever we end up doing the next season, I think the next season with like Gemini 2 and like the whole agentic flow, one of the cool things that could come up out of this is that instead of like I could pretty much have a bunch of agents in the background like simulating this world without like me doing anything, and then at times I would go take a look at the snapshot of what this world state looks like and give people information when they go ask and do things, right? So or like I could create agents that would basically impersonate individuals that are here and like be those agents. Then players could play by post, like talk to Era Shadowglow and like try to uncover what they know and things of that nature. Like that, these are all things that are possible. I mean, again, at some point, it probably stops being like tabletop RPG and becomes like a full-on video game. But I think like for me like taking away the toil and making it somewhat more interesting or like somewhat more grounded is the part that I'm like super excited about. So
okay, so we do have 2 minutes left, unfortunately, before we wrap up. I really want to know what was behind the door, but it's fine.
Yeah. So the what was behind the door, well, we'll find it out later.
We'll find it out later. But any like out of all the stuff you've done here, any major takeaways that you're like, this was awesome and super handy? And
I think the big one is like the tool use is super awesome. So you could basically define tools, and this is again, I'm making an API call here. You could talk to a database. You could take a bunch of things talking to each other. Like you could pretty much do whatever you need to do. You could do multiple tools and let the model decide what tool they need to use to get the job done. In this case, my use case was pretty straightforward. GenKit also lets you do RAG. Again, with agents, RAGs are kind of becoming less and less relevant, but there are use cases where RAGs are super useful too. But again, I think the two key takeaway is GenKit is awesome. So if you have not used it, definitely use GenKit. And number two is like there are use cases where these managed models like Gemini or like ChatGPT, like GPT-4 or like Claude, like these managed ones are super useful. But there's also use cases where you actually want to control and own the model and the data that you're running on it. So in this case, we're using Llama 3.3. You could use models like Gemma, Phi, Mistral, all these other models. And it's with GenKit, the other cool part about GenKit is I could basically do a mixture. I don't have to like choose one model and stick to it. Like when I'm defining this GenKit, I could actually have multiple plugins. Plugins is an array. So instead of just using Ollama, I could have Gemini 1.5, Gemini 2, Gemini Pro. So I could basically, for each use case, I could choose which model gives me the best result and which model, like price performance versus quality versus speed. I could basically pick and choose the model and the tools that I'm using to get the best result for my job.
I will ask you one more thing before we go. Can you throw your GitHub repository on the screen so everyone can see it?
Oh, yes. I don't know if I push the latest change, but I will after this.
Just so people can see the URL.
Yeah, it's called RPG Assistant.
Make it bigger.
I don't know if the URL on the top goes bigger, but
there you
the
go.
name did get bigger.
That works. Fantastic.
Yeah. So there are, again, like there's a Docker file for building the Ollama image. Again, the entire thing would work. I'll probably do a version of it without like Ollama and using Gemini directly and be able to like swap it at runtime even using some variables and such. So
fantastic. Any other questions from like anyone else who's here? Mia, Olivia, or Sarah, or Jennifer before we run away?
No, this is awesome though. Great use of a local model and injecting our custom context in there. And yeah, this was fun.
Now we just need to play for like a whole day playing D&D with Mofi. I'm totally okay with that. Well, I just want to say thank you to all of you, for Jennifer, Sarah, Olivia, Mia, for coming and playing D&D with me. Mofi, thank you so much for being both Dungeon Master and also guiding us through your RPG creation or RPG assistant. Fantastic. And thanks to everyone for watching. Thank you for hanging out. I hope you learned some cool stuff and enjoyed a little bit of Gen AI D&D. All right. See you all later.